On a recent trip to Wales, heart of the production of Doctor Who since 2005, I paid a visit to some very special filming locations for one of my favourite stories of the Tennant era, Human Nature and the Family of Blood. Wales is chock-a-block with places to visit if you care to see the numerous sites that have featured both as themselves and as stand-ins for the wonderful extraterrestrial locales featured in the programme. There are so many, in fact, that visiting all the locations used in any single story can be quite a trek, requiring long journeys between quite distant places. As I didn't have loads of time, it was a joy to visit St Fagans National History Museum, about 4.5 miles west of Cardiff, where its authentic recreation of Victorian and early 20th century buildings provided the production team with several fantastic opportunities that added value and interest to one of Series 3's most enjoyable and moving stories. As the story required the Doctor and Martha to be hiding in the typical English country village of Farringham, the popular and award-winning open-air museum of St Fagans proved ideal and was made extensive use of over the Christmas and New Year period of 2006 and 2007. Comprising over 50 rebuilt historic buildings that cover various periods in Wales's long history, the museum is a fascinating insight into the past and as close as one can get in the real world to TARDIS travel. As it is a working museum, not much has changed since the team undertook filming, and I was fortunate to spot many of the places used for exterior scenes in the classic story virtually unchanged from what had appeared on screen. The main location used for the school, Trebeirfudd House, is an hour away from Cardiff by car and only open at certain times of the year, so chronologically, the first scene from the story to visit at St Fagans is the Llyn Llyos farmstead, where Martha and Jenny share a drink outside the village pub in what are unmistakably freezing temperatures. The farmhouse dates from the 19th century and is adjoined by a farmyard with animals not featured in the programme. Unfortunately, there was some building work being undertaken during my visit, but this didn't stop me catching some brief shots of both the area where the ladies enjoy their drink and the spot where they, along with the Doctor and Nurse Redfern, spot the strange light in the sky descending to the forest beyond. The next spot worth checking out, and the pièce de résistance of locations used in the story, is the village green, situated pretty much at the heart of the museum, comprising an authentically reconstructed shop, tailors and smithy, alongside a series of terraced housing, all of which featured in the scene of the Doctor walking with Joan through the village as their romance burgeoned. The portrait studio has since been changed to a traditional sweet shop where, had he still been present, the Doctor would have an ongoing tab for jelly babies, I imagine. This spot also features the grass green, perfect for picnics on a sunnier day, and also for a good cricket bowl, affording ample trajectories to avert disaster. Next up is the Oakdale Workmen's Institute, built in 1917 for the pit workers and their families for education and leisure, which was used for the village hall in the story. Unfortunately, the upstairs was not accessible during my visit, so I missed out on the chance to enter the dance hall used for the cliffhanger between the two episodes, but did catch a few shots of the spot where the poor Crimean War veteran is disintegrated by Brother of Mine.
Either all, spare a penny, sir.
I didn't spare you.
Lastly, we come to the Melyn Bomthren corn mill, the exterior of which served as the cottage of the ill-fated Cartwright family, where John Smith and company shelter from the onslaught of the family, and where the frightened teacher has to face his destiny. The rear of the building with the great cast iron water wheel cannot be seen in the story, but rather the entrance is used for where Martha and Tim Latimer sit to provide Smith and Nurse Redfern with some space to come to terms with what he must do. St Fagans is a wonderful place, a great example of living history, and just one of innumerable locations around the country that exemplify the diversity and beauty of Wales, as well as providing great production value that have raised already brilliant written and performed stories like this classic two-parter to even greater heights.